everybody. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. Before we go down to Pine Ridge, I'm going to help solve a problem that many mothers are constantly faced with. If your youngsters don't like milk, or if milk doesn't agree with them, try giving them Horlicks, the original malted milk. Horlicks has many advantages over ordinary milk. Youngsters like it. You'll never have any trouble getting them to drink their Horlicks, whether you give it to them for breakfast, between meals, or just before going to bed. Then Horlicks is so digestible. Young and delicate digestive systems can easily and safely handle it. That's why so many medical and child feeding authorities have always recommended Horlicks. Keep this in mind the next time your youngsters complain about taking their milk. Give them Horlicks. You can get a package, you know, from your druggist in either natural or chocolate flavor. Children like both flavors. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, the disappointment over the fact that nobody put in an appearance at the unveiling of the statue Lum planned to present to the citizens of Pine Ridge was evidently more than the old fellow could stand. He left the store that afternoon and hasn't been seen or heard from since. Searching parties have been sent out, the mill pond is being dragged, and reports have been pouring in from all sections, and yet there is no definite word as to his present whereabouts. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Abner and Grandpappy Spears down at the Jot 'em Down store. Abner is answering the telephone. Listen.
Yeah, this is him. Huh? He is? Well, for the land sake. When did he get in? Well, I do know.
What is it, Abner?
Well, tell him to get on over here. I just can't wait to see him, hardly. All right. Well, much obliged for calling, Dick. Well, that sure is a relief off of my mind. And all right. Goodbye. I dog his Grandpap Lum's back.
Yeah, I allowed he was. I heard you talking. When did he get in?
Just a while ago, Dick said he come out on a mail hat.
Well, where in the world has he been all this time?
Why, Dick never said, and I never thought to ask him. I said he's coming right on over here, though.
Well, I'm sure proud to hear he's back.
Me too.
I'd about give up all hope to ever seeing him again.
Yeah, well, sir, I just can't hardly believe it so. I've just worried so much over it.
Well, we ought to go down and tell the boys to quit dragging the mill pond.
Yeah, they're just wasting their time. He ain't in that mill pond now, I know.
No.
I'll send Cedric over there to tell him. I don't want to leave a store here till Lum gets here. Cedric!
Yeah, Cedric can stack that feed some other time.
Come here a minute, Cedric. We ought to telephone the sheriff, too, let him know we found it, or somebody did.
Did you call me, Mr. Abner?
Yeah, Cedric. Lum's here.
Well, hello, Miss... Well, where?
Well, he ain't here yet, but he's in town. He's in town.
Was he in the mill pond like they thought he was?
No, he's down at Dick Hutterson's store.
Well, I sworn to goodness. Looks like Mr. Dick would have saw him down there, don't it?
Oh, well, they never found him down there, Cedric.
Well, how they know he's there, then?
Why, Dick just now called up and said he was there. He come in on the mail hack a while ago.
Yeah, he ain't been here all the time, Cedric. He just got in town a few minutes ago.
Yeah, and I want you to go over to the mill pond, Cedric, and tell Ezra Seastrunk and that bunch over there to quit looking for him, because he's found now.
Yes, Mom. Well, I'll tell them, but I know they're going to be mad when they find out they've been dragging that pond over there for nothing.
Well, now, hurry up and get on over and tell them, for the longer they look, the madder they'll get.
Yes, Mom, I'll tell them.
I hadn't thought about that. That bunch is going to be aggravated at Lum, putting into all that bother.
Yeah, it's going to make Ezra Seastrunk look awful foolish, for he's the one that was so sure that that's where they'd find him at.
Yeah, he sure was. Now, Grandpap, we want to be sure now and not make no mention of that unveiling ceremony to Lum. Let's just try our best to make him forget about it if we can.
Yeah, that's the thing to do. Yeah, he'll get over it in time.
Well, I don't know, Grandpap. I'm just afraid that Lum will never be the same. He's going to feel like everybody in the community is down on him, because nobody never showed up for the ceremony the other day.
Yeah. Somebody ought to tell him it was Mose's fault for telling everybody that the thing had been called off.
Yeah, well, I'll tell him one of these days, but don't want to tell him now, for we've got to cheer him up if we can.
Yeah.
Try to get him to take an interest in the business here again.
Well, I'm feared Abner Lum will never do that, though. I know Lum too well. He's more than likely done give up. He's lost his ambition.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm scared of too, Grandpa. He's always worked so hard, you know, trying to make a name for himself. I'm just afraid now that he'll just turn out like Luke Spears.
Like Luke Spears?
Yes, I'm just afraid he will.
Well, I hope not. That's the laziest mortal that ever drawed breath. I know Luke Spears is.
Yeah, he is now. But he weren't till he tried to join the army during the war. He left out of here, and they give farewell parties for him, and just made a regular hero out of it.
Yeah.
And it weren't a week till he come back, turned down on account of having flat feet.
Yeah, I recollect him coming back disappointed. Nobody speaking to him hardly.
Oh, he was all sore up on it, yeah. And he said then that if he weren't fitting to fight, he weren't fitting to work. Said he'd never turn another hand. And he ain't. Just sex, that's all.
Yeah, oh, his woman's had to make a living for him ever since.
Why, sure she has.
He hadn't opened up that restaurant down there, he'd have starved himself to death. All he does is sit up there and play checkers and swat flies.
Yeah. All he does about the business is just let her use his name for it. Luke Spears Lunchroom, that's all he does.
That's right. I'd hate to see Lum give up like Luke done. When a man loses his ambition, Abner, he's a goner.
Yeah, he is. And it looks like a shame that it had to happen right at this time, too. Well, Lum was talking just the other day about getting into some new business. Wanting to invest that money that me and him's got in the bank. Get into something else, he said. Make millionaires out of it.
Yeah, that's a shame. Well, maybe you can talk him into it yet, Abner.
Well, just wished I could get him interested in something. You know, worst trouble with Mom, Grandpap, he ain't like me and you. He ain't got no family to encourage him none when he gets low in spirits this way.
Yeah, there's the trouble right there. Yes, sir. He needs a good woman. Somebody dependent on him. Give him some responsibility.
Yeah, he does that. I just wish that him and Evelina would get married.
Well, I don't believe they'll ever do it, Abner.
Why, they're just plumb in love with one another. You can tell that.
I thought sure her and him would get spliced a while back there when her and Frank Foster broke up, but it don't look like it's any closer to a match now than it ever was.
No. And she'd marry him in a minute if he'd just pop the question. But I just don't believe that he's got nerve enough to ask.
No.
Mom's always talking, making his brags about what a great ladies' man he is.
Yeah.
But when he gets around them, why, he don't know what to do with himself. Stand there on one foot and look down at the floor and loll his tongue against his cheek and giggle. That's all he does.
And he's the bashfulest fellow I believe I ever seen.
Worst I ever seen.
He's like overgrown boy.
He sure is.
Every time a woman speaks to him, his neck and ears gets as red as fire. You ever notice it? Then he starts pulling on his mustache. All
There you go.
I wish he'd hurry up. I'm curious to find out where he's been at all this time.
Well, he ain't been far. Me and the sheriff went over to his house yesterday evening, and his clothes and valise were still there, so I know he never went far.
Well, if he'd have been every place we've had reports of folks seeing him, he'd have covered half of this part of the county by now.
Oh, Lord, that telephone rung over at my place all night long, folks saying that they'd saw him.
Yeah, well, you had no more than hung up a receiver yesterday after you made that telephone call on the party line after they started calling down here.
Yeah.
Looked like there for a while that me and you was about the only ones in town that hadn't saw him.
Yeah, well, of course, they was all trying to help Grandpap. Oh, wait a minute. There he comes, him and Dick Huddleston.
Yeah, that's old Lum. Just sure it was.
Well, he ain't changed the mind, has he? Looks just the same.
Well, I'm proud Dick come over with him, too, Abner. He can sort of help us steer him up.
Yeah, well, we ought to call the folks on the party line, too, and let them all know he's got back all right.
Yeah, we ought to do that after a while, Abner. There's lots of folks still uneasy about it.
Well, come in here, Lum and Abner.
Howdy, Lum, howdy.
Swan, I never was so proud to see anybody in my whole life.
Gentlemen, howdy.
I dog it if you never pulled a fine stone. How are you? Where have you been?
Well, sir, I've been on a little trip, Abner. Glad to see you. Take your hand, too, Grandpap. Glad to see both of you.
You say you've been on a trip.
Yeah, Lum was just telling me he's been to Kansas City.
Kansas City?
Well, why in the world didn't you tell somebody where you was going? Had us all worried to death around here. Had us dragging the mill pond for you and sent out searching parties. Had the sheriff out here yesterday evening, and he's got his whole force of working around trying to locate where you at, Lum. We just knowed something bad had happened.
Well, I do know. Yeah, Abner here was worried to death over it, Lum.
Yeah, there's folks calling down here every few minutes telling us that they'd saw you somewhere.
Yeah, we'd get a call from somebody say they'd seen you over about Cherry Hill, and about the time we hung up a receiver, somebody 20 miles the other direction say they just saw you go by there.
They sure done it.
Yeah, that's the way it always is. Well, to be right honest, I never knowed that was where I was going myself till I got there. I left out of here the other day. The felt so tore up over that unveiling ceremony. I just decided I'd walk off and leave Pine Ridge and not never come back.
Well, for the land's sake.
But I got up there and got to thinking things over, and I don't know. There I was, running away just like a coward, just 'cause nobody come out to see me present the statuary of myself to them. So I just decided right then to come back here and make such a success of myself that folks here in Pine Ridge would be crawling around on their hands and knees begging me to let them put up a statuary of myself.
Now, that's the time. That's the way I love to hear you talk.
Good for you.
Well, that's just what I told him, too. You did the right thing by coming back, Lum. We're all glad to have you. Well, thank you, Dick. It's nice of you to say that. I'm glad I went, and I'm glad to be back. Grannies, I've got an idea now that I never would have had if I hadn't took this trip.
Got an idea.
Yes, sir. Me and you's going into a new business, Abner.
A new business?
We're starting tomorrow, getting ready for it.
But you ain't aiming on getting shut of the store here, are you?
Oh, no. This won't interfere with the store business at all.
Yeah, good.
This is a business that Pine Ridge has been needing for a long time.
Well, what is it? For goodness sake, what is it now?
We're going into the picture show business.
Huh?
Me and you is going to open up a picture show right here in Pine Ridge. Grannies, I'll show 'em.
From King of the Hogs to Czar of the Movies. Howdy, everybody. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. From time to time, we have received a great many letters from people working in offices, stores, and factories, from people who enjoy smoking but are unable to smoke while at work. Now, these folks report that Horlicks tablets are especially fine for relieving that craving for smoking that so many smokers have. Here's the reason for that. Horlicks malted milk tablets are extremely sustaining and energy-giving, besides being palatable to eat. It is this sustaining quality that has made them so popular with motorists, golfers, school teachers, and with anyone who needs something to relieve hunger without spoiling their appetites. So if, for any one reason, you're unable to smoke during the day, get a flask of Horlicks tablets and take them along to work with you. You can get a handy 10-cent flask that's just the thing for carrying. Your druggist also has them in larger size flasks in both natural and chocolate flavors. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum returned to Pine Ridge yesterday after a few days' absence, inspired with a determination to make a name for himself in the hometown in spite of the past. He now has the idea of opening a picture show in Pine Ridge and has persuaded his old friend Abner to go in partnership with him in the new enterprise. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum and Abner down at the Jot 'em Down store discussing the plans for their new venture. Listen.
Yeah, but I don't see no use to put up a new building, old Lum. Why don't we just rent some of these vacant buildings that's already here?
Well, the trouble is, there ain't nothing around here that's got a slanting floor in it.
Got a what?
A slanting floor. You know, the floors in a picture show all sort of runs downhill towards the front of it.
Yeah, that's right. I never could see no use in it, though.
Well, they've got to be that way.
Well, them places is hard enough to walk in without having the floors so slanting that you trot 3 or 4 rows past where you aim to sit down there.
Yeah, but you got to have that floor slanting that way so they can see over one another's heads, so they can see the moving picture.
Yeah, that does help, I reckon.
And another thing, we've got to have a high ceiling in it so the machine that shows the moving picture will be clean up over everybody's head. If you don't, every time somebody gets up to leave or somebody comes in, it'll show their shadow up there on the screen. And everybody will wonder where he come from all of a sudden.
Huh?
Like in there at the county seat, you saw them young'uns down there that sits on the front row there making shadows on the screen. They're always holding their hands up and moving their fingers so the shadows look like some kind of animal opening and closing his mouth.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Just take your hand and hold it up twixt the lamp and the wall and work your fingers like that.
I know how you do it.
See, your thumb makes the ears long. Looks like a dog fixing to bite.
Well, that's the way I make a horse there, though. I know how to make all them things.
I used to could make a rabbit somewhere or other. Let's see, what had I done there? Oh, yeah, he set one fist up on top of the other and something.
Well, I don't care nothing about how you make them shadders. It looks like animals.
Well, what'd you ask me for then?
I never asked you. I just said the young'uns at the picture show in there at the county seat always does that.
Well, now, Lum, it ain't no use to get them to do it when I can do it just as well as they can.
Yeah, but we don't want them to. That's just it. That's the reason we'll have to have a high ceiling so as we can get the picture machine up high enough to keep them from doing it.
Oh, well, I'll keep them from it. I'll be down there on the front row anyway.
Front row?
I'm going to have a special seat for me right there on the front row every night.
Oh, no, you're not. Oh, no. No, you've got to be back there in the back to take up the ticket.
Now, Lum, I told you this morning that the only way I'd go in this with you is for me and Pearl and Elizabeth to see the show free every night.
Well, you can see the show, all right. Just get your chair and set it back there by the door, and you can watch the picture and take up a ticket every time anybody goes by you both.
You want me to make them give me a ticket every time they come by me, huh?
Why, sure, that's what you'll be there for.
Well, you'll have to make everybody buy 2 tickets then.
Buy 2 tickets?
Why, yeah, they'll have to give me one when they go in and one when they go out, too, if they hand me one every time they pass me.
Well, why in the world would you want to take up a ticket when they're going out for?
Why, to keep them from slipping out. Oh, that's right. Yeah, 1 ticket will be enough, I reckon. We'd make just twice as much money, though, by selling them 2.
Well, ain't nobody going to buy 2 tickets to see no show. I wouldn't sell them 2 tickets if I could.
Well, what if some fella brings his wife down there? You going to make her stand outside and wait till it's over?
Why, of course not.
Well, now, the men folks ain't going to stand outside and wait. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, nobody ain't going to stand outside and wait. If a fella brings his wife down there, you buy 2 tickets.
I thought you said that you weren't going to sell nobody 2 tickets.
Well, what I mean, Abner... What? You just leave the ticket selling up to me. All you got to do is take them up when they get in the door there.
Yeah, all right, but I still don't
What we got to do now is decide where we're going to build that building at, and what kind of a building we're going to put up, and all that stuff. Get this thing started here. We're losing money every day by not having this thing open.
Losing money?
Why, sure. If we do the kind of business we ought to, we're losing at least $25 a day till we get the thing opened up.
Well, for the land's sake. Well, we better hurry up then, Lum. We'll have all the money we got there in the bank lost before we get started.
Well, that ain't the money we're losing, though.
Well, that's the only money I've got. It'll have to come out of there.
Well, what I mean, Abner, we're losing it, but we ain't losing it.
Well, which?
Well, we ain't losing none of the money we've got there in the bank, but it's costing us $25 a day till we get opened up. That's profits that we ain't making by not being open.
Well, who are we going to have to pay that to?
Pay what to?
Why, that's $25 a day that we're losing.
Why, nobody in particular.
Bet that blame Squire Skimp's mixed up in it somewhere.
No, Squire ain't got a thing to do with it. We're losing it, but we won't never have to pay it, Abner.
Oh, well, that's all right then. No, I don't care how much we lose, we don't have to pay it.
Well, the thing to do is first to get started as quick as we can. We've got to organize. We've got to get somebody to run the moving picture machine. I thought about Cedric's.
Yeah, Cedric's be all right, I reckon, if he gets to feel all that by that time.
Yeah, he ain't. Well, I never have found out what's wrong with him.
Why, he might not have founded himself down there the other day on all that barbecue that Clay Foster had cooked up that the folks never ate up on account of nobody coming out.
Did Cedric eat all them sandwiches
Yes,
himself?
now every one he had stacked up down there. He's been sick ever since. Yes,
We've got to get the thing started, Abner. I'm worried of that. We don't want to lose no more than we have to, you know.
Well, what difference does it make, Lum, as long as they ain't going to try to collect it nohow? I don't care. As long as this is a new kind of business on me.
Oh, this is a good idea, opening up a picture show. It'll just save these folks here in Pine Ridge from driving 20 miles to the county seat to see a show. They'll save the price of admission on gasoline.
They will.
Oh, easy that much. It'd take more than a quarter's worth of gasoline to drive clean into the county seat and back.
Well, I bet old Uncle Henry Lunsford will be glad to hear that.
Uncle Henry?
Yeah.
He ain't got no car.
Well, no, but he's got that gasoline engine over there that he saws wood with all the time.
Well, he couldn't drive that to the county seat.
Why, of course not. He couldn't drive it no place. It ain't even got no wheels on it.
Well, how's he going to save anything on gasoline then?
Why, he has to buy gasoline for the engine all the time.
Yeah, but the only way they can save anything is by driving into the county seat.
Oh. They got to drive clean into the county seat before they can save anything, huh?
Oh, wait a minute now. You're getting me mixed up. No, that's wrong. It's the ones that don't drive in there that saves on gasoline, yeah.
Oh, well, I'll tell Uncle Henry that then. He can just quit going in there. Start trading over at Mount Ida.
Well, it's as far over to Mount Ida as it is to the county seat.
Does it work on Mount Ida, too?
Well, sure, it works on any place.
Well, when did they start that?
Abner, what I mean, if the folks goes to the show out here instead of going to the county seat to the show, they'll save at least a quarter on the gasoline it would have took them to drive in there.
Well, if we just charge a quarter and they save a quarter, well, it ain't going to cost them nothing to go to the show then, is it?
That's just what I've been trying to explain to you.
Dogged, we ought to do the business then, Lum. Everybody be going to the show if it don't cost nothing. I don't see how in the world we're going to make any money out of it, though, letting them in free that way.
Well, only ones that'll save anything, though, is the ones that aim to go into the county seat but never.
Yeah, but how are we going to tell who aimed to and who didn't?
Oh, well, it ain't up to us about that. They'll know where they aim to go into the county seat or not.
Yeah, but now they'll catch on to that, Lum. They'll all be coming down there and claiming they're aiming on going to the county seat just to get in free.
Get in free?
Yeah, if they're going to let some of them in for nothing, you may as well just open the door and let them all in to start with.
Don't you worry about that. There ain't going to be nobody getting that picture show free. I'll see to that myself.
Oh, yes, they is, too.
No, they ain't either. That's one thing that we ain't going to
All
start
right,
now.
then, I just won't go in on it with you.
Well, what's your idea in wanting to let folks in for nothing? We can't make no
You said
money.
this morning that me and Elizabeth and Pearl could get in free for nothing every night, and I don't if you don't let it, I ain't going to have nothing to do with it.
You drive a body clean out of his head. I'll swan to goodness. Get me some mixed up. I don't know where I'm at, even.
Why, you're sitting right here in the store.
I know where I'm at.
Yeah, but you never till I told you.
Abner,
So
if you don't shut up, I'm going to whop you one. I've just stood about all this.
Argument about it.
Well, Dick, howdy, come in.
Yeah, hello, Dick.
I'm just trying to explain the picture show business to Abner here, but I can't get nothing through his head, looks like.
Well, that's what I came over to talk to you fellas about. You was talking yesterday about putting up a new building here, and I got to thinking a while ago, why couldn't I rent you fellas that old cotton warehouse of mine over there? That'd be big enough for a show.
Yeah, it'd be big enough, all right, but it ain't got no slanting floor in it.
No.
See, picture shows has got to have a slanting floor to them, Dick.
Oh, well, it can be remodeled on. The whole thing would have to be done over, but it's a good location, and I'll rent it to you cheap.
Granted, now, that might not be a bad idea to ask. We could get started a heap quicker that way.
And not lose so much.
Yeah. How much rent would you have to have for that, Dick?
Yeah, you'll have to get that down pretty low the way Lum's got this thing figured out now. It's going to surprise me if we make anything anyway.
Oh, I don't know, fellas. It's not bringing in anything the way it is. I'll just let you name your own price.
Name our own price?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I grannies, we'll take it, Dick. We'll start the work remodeling tomorrow. That's good.
Well, it looks like Pine Ridge will soon have their first picture house. The city's first nightlife. Everybody, here we are all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. Have you noticed that quality stores nearly always serve Horlicks malted milk at the soda fountain? Next time you're out shopping, look for the Horlick name and see if this isn't a fact. Here's the reason for it. Good stores know the value of Horlicks malted milk. They know that for richness, for flavor, for results, this famous original malted milk is not to be compared with the many imitations of Horlicks now on the market. They are paying more to give you the best. The Horlick name at the fountain, then, is a sign of that store owner's high standard of selection. If you don't see it, ask the clerk to get Horlicks for you. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum returned from a trip to Kansas City a few days ago with the idea that he and Abner would open a picture show in Pine Ridge. Yesterday, they made arrangements with Dick Huddleston to rent a building which has been used as a cotton warehouse for their new business. Today, they have a crew of men busy remodeling the building. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, Abner has just returned from the warehouse. We find him down at the Jot 'em Down store discussing their plans with Grandpap Spears. Listen.
Oh, I just can't wait to get started. Just think, get to sit there and look at the picture show every night for nothing.
Oh, everybody in town just tickled to death over it. Lots of folks here in Pine Ridge that ain't never saw a picture show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some around here that's awful backwoodsy yet. I seen a picture show 2 years ago. It ain't going to be nothing new to me.
No, but I believe you'll do well with it, Abner. You and Lum ought to make a lot of money out of it.
Oh, Lum says we're going to make millionaires out of ourselves with it.
And I hope you do. Hope you do.
Did Lum say where he's going, Grandpap, when he left?
Why, yeah, he said something about going over to see Moe's Moose. Something about renting some folding chairs from the lodge hall. You know, Moe's is one of the high-up ospers in the lodge.
Yeah. I dogged I'd forgot about us having to have seats for over there.
Oh, yeah, you have to have seats.
Well, I hope he can rent them. I'd hate for us to have to buy brand new ones.
Yeah, that'll save you some money right there.
Yeah, well, I saved us some a while ago. That's what I want to see Lum about. I bound you he'll be tickled to death whenever he finds out what I did.
Save some money, did you?
Yeah, I don't know why in the world we never thought of it before now. It'll just cut out a lot of extra carpenter's work, what it'll do.
Yeah, you want to watch them things, because it's going to be right smart of a job remodeling that old cotton warehouse, ain't it?
Yeah, now, the way I've got it figured out, it ain't so, Grandpap. All he's going to have to do is just build a little room upstairs in the back for the picture machine and then board up the windows so that the light can't get in.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Lum's got some big ideas about fixing the place up fancy, but I think I can talk him out of it.
Well, yonder comes Lum now.
Yeah, well, I'll just get him to go over there with me so that I can show him what I thought of.
Yeah, he's the busiest somebody I ever seen in my life. He's been on the go all day long today.
Yeah, the only trouble for him about he's got to watch him. He's so extravagant.
Extravagant?
Yeah, he never stops to think what anything's going to cost. You ought to hear some of the ideas that he's got studied up for that show.
Better mind out what you're saying.
Uh-huh. Hey, Lum, after you left over there a while ago, I studied up an idea that'll save us $100.
Save us $100.
Yes, sir. As I said, it cost us $100 to put a new floor in there.
Yeah, but we've got to have a new floor.
No, I figured out a way around that, Lum. That floor we got in there is all right.
Yeah, it's all right, but it ain't slanting. The picture show's got to have a slanting floor so folks can see over one another's heads.
Well, this'll be slanting when they get done doing what I told them to. See, instead of building a new floor, well, I've got them over there raising up one end of the building.
Raising up one end of the building?
Yeah, we're just hiking up the front end of it there to where it'll be about 6 foot higher than it is in the back. That'll make it slanting, and we won't have to build no new floor.
Oh, for goodness sakes, Abner, that ain't going to work.
What's the reason it ain't?
Why, the building won't look right. The windows and doors will all be slanting, too. How's folks going to get up there to the front door and hit it sticking up about 10 foot in the air?
Well, I hadn't thought about that part of it.
That's just the trouble. You don't think about nothing.
We could build a stairway up there to it. Could do that.
Well, that little room we was aiming on using for the box office, it'll be slanting, too.
Yeah, everything will be slanting.
Well, that ain't going to do. Front door will be pinting right up in the sky that way, and every time it rained, I'd flood the building. Just rain right in the front door.
Yeah.
Grandpap, I wish you'd go over and tell Ezra to hold off on that raising the building. Tell him to go ahead and put that floor in there like I told him to.
Yeah, all right, Lum, I'll tell him. I still think that idea of mine's a good one.
Well, Abner, it just won't work now, so just forget about it. And don't be going around over there telling Ezra to do one thing after I've told him to do something else.
Well, I'm just trying to save us some money, was all.
That's all right. I just want to get started over as quick as we can. You're just making matters worse.
Did you rent the chairs from the lodge hall?
Yeah, I had to give a little more for them than I wanted to, but I told Mose we'd rent them for a month anyway.
Why couldn't we just put some benches in there, Lum?
Benches?
Yeah, set some candy buckets in there, upside downers, and then just lay some boards across them.
Candy buckets with boards across. We've got to fix the place up nice, make them feel comfort in there. We're going to have folding chairs in there or nothing.
Well, all right. I just hope we don't spend all our money before we get started, though.
Well, Abner, it's like I've always told you, you've got to spend money to make it.
Spend it to make it?
Now, I've explained all that to you before. I'm not going into it again. You know what I mean. It's going to cost us right smart of money just starting out this way, but there's just certain things that we've got to have. Got to have some music for one thing.
Music?
Yeah, somebody to play the piano. You know, like they do in there at Meany.
You mean that we've got to buy a piano or two?
Well, if we can't rent one summers, I reckon we'll have to.
Well, what's there use to have music in there, Lum? They ain't going to dance or nothing.
No, but you've got to have music along with the picture.
Do?
Why, sure. If it's a sad picture, we'll have them play some sad music. And if the hero's about to catch the villain, why, we want to play some real fast and exciting music.
Well, there's some more expense.
Got to get somebody to play the piano.
Well, you don't expect it to play itself, do you?
Well, no, but... Huh? Wait a minute here. Why couldn't we get a player piano like that in the Grandpap Spirit has got?
Granny, that's right. I hadn't thought about that.
Mike could just rent that off of him, Lum. I don't think him and Charity ever played the thing unless they got company.
Well, sir, that might be just what we're looking for.
Sure.
We'd have to get some new rolls of music for it, though. He ain't got but 3 rolls that I ever heard him play. Casey Jones and Steamboat Bill and some other, and I don't recollect.
Yeah, Star Spangled Banner, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's always trying to stand up and pump them pedals at the same time while he plays it. I'm going.
Yeah, we don't want that down there in the picture show. Well, as he likes that tune, he'd have the folks standing up about half the time.
Yeah, wouldn't need no seats that way. Or wouldn't need but half as many.
Well, when Grandpap gets back, I'll speak to him about that, see if we can't rent that piney from him. That's a good idea you had there, Abner.
Well, I'm glad I had one that was all right. I was just about to lose confidence in myself.
Well, let's see now. That gets some music and the chairs, and Avery's already working remodeling the building. Next thing we got to locate is a moving picture machine.
What?
A machine to show the moving pictures with.
Oh, yeah, that just reminds me, too, Lum. I've got something here, if I can find it. Something I cut out of a magazine down at the barber shop. Yeah, here it is. Now, look at that. That might be just what we're looking for.
What is it? A home movie projector.
Oh, I thought it was a moving picture machine. Mose Moot said it was.
Well, it is, but it says, have your own moving pictures at home with this handy little projector. Complete with 2 rolls of films, $2.79.
Yeah, them things don't cost as much as I allowed they would, Lum.
It's just the trouble, they don't cost enough.
Don't cost enough?
Oh, this thing wouldn't throw a picture over 20 or 30 feet. We're going to have the machine sitting upstairs there clean at the back of the building.
At the back?
Why, sure.
Well, Ezra's sure mixed up then, Lum, for he's building that room in front.
In front?
Yes, sir, right up there over the box office.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's the back of the house. You see, when you get inside of a show that way, you go in the front, but when you get in here, you're in the back of the house. When you get inside of a show that way, the front starts being the back, and the back starts being the front.
You mean you're going to turn the building around?
No, but things just changes.
Well, I'll be dead blamed. I never had noticed that.
Well, now, when you come in the front door of a picture show and sit down quick as you get inside, you ought to say you're sitting in the back of the house. But you just come in the front. If you want to sit down there in front, you've got to go clean to the back.
Well, I've been turned around them things and never even noticed it. I always sit on a front row if I can find a seat that ain't tough. But I've been sitting in the back unbeknownst to myself, ain't I?
Well, just quit studying about it, Abner. You're getting yourself mixed up, and me too. Regardless of which is the front and which is the back, the screen's going to be at one end of the building, and Ezra's building a booth for the picture machine at the other, so this little machine here wouldn't work on account it wouldn't throw a picture that far.
Well, why don't he just build a booth about 6 feet from a screen? Then this machine will work all right.
No, I've got a better idea than that. I'm going to call up that feller that runs the Lyric Theater in there at the county seat and ask him where I can buy one.
And I bound you he can't tell you where you can buy one any cheaper than this in here, Lum. I know.
I hope I can find him around there this time of the day. Central, ring me the Lyric Theater, please, Mom. All right. I ain't got the least idea what his name is.
I thought his name was Mr. Lyric.
No, that's just the name of the show. Our name ain't Mr. Jot 'em Down. Just go... Wait a minute. Hello? Mr. Lyric? Oh, dad blame it, Abner. Who am I talking to? I mean, are you the fellow that runs the picture show?
Don't even know who he's talking to.
Well, this is Lum Edwards out at Pine Ridge. Lum Edwards.
Man, what? That's all he thinks about.
Yes, sir. Why, me and my partner, Mr. Peabody, is putting in a moving picture show out here, and I just wondered if you could tell me where we could buy a moving picture machine at.
Him and his fancy idea.
Well, just as cheap one as I can find. How's that? You have? Well, that may be just what we're looking for.
I still think we'd slant the
building. We don't mind it being second-handed if it's in good shape. How much would you want for it? Well, I grant me and Mr. Peabody will be in there tonight to look at it then.
There you go.
Yeah, don't sell it till we get there. All right, fine. Much obliged. Goodbye. Hi, Granny's Abner. He's got a machine in there that he'll take $20 or $75, I believe he said. Said he used to use it there himself.
Well, at this rate, the old fellow should soon be open for business. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. First, here's a special message for all the youngsters who listen to Lum and Abner. How many of you youngsters drink Horlicks malted milk? Quite a lot, I'll bet. It sure is a grand summer drink. If your mother doesn't have Horlicks in the house, here's what to do to get her to buy some. Just tell her that Horlicks malted milk is as fine a drink for children as she can possibly find, that it will make you big and strong and healthy, just like thousands of other youngsters who drink their Horlicks every day. And if that doesn't convince her, tell her that Horlicks malted milk is a mighty nourishing drink and so much easier for you to digest. Just tell her that, and I'm willing to bet that she'll get you a package right away. She can get it at her druggist, you know, in either natural or chocolate flavor, whichever you prefer. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum and Abner's picture show is progressing nicely. They have a crew of men remodeling the old cotton warehouse into an up-to-date theater. And last night they made a trip into the county seat and purchased a second-hand projector with which to show their films. As we look in on our old friends today, we find them down at the Jot 'em Down store making plans for the opening. Listen.
Well, that gets everything but piney now.
Yeah. I wish we could get along without that thing, Lum. That's going to run into money.
Well, I ain't going to buy one, Abner. I'm going to rent that player piney from Grandpap Spears if I can.
Yeah, but I'm just afraid you're going to run into trouble there, though. He's awful close to Grandpap.
Yeah, but I've got a way studied up to handle him all right. When I get through talking to him, you'll be wanting to let us use it for nothing.
Yeah. Well, he's back there in the feed room now if you want to talk to him about it.
Yeah, call him up here. Now, just let me do the talking. Grandpap's pretty hard to deal with, you know. Got to handle him just so.
Yeah. If he knowed how bad we wanted it, why, he'd ask us 3 or 4 prices for it.
Well, you got to use psychology on him.
Got to use what?
Nothing. I'll use it. You just get him up here.
Hey, Grandpa. Come on up to the front of the store here. Me and Lum wants to see you about...
Don't tell him what you want with him.
Something.
Just let me handle it now.
Oh, I ain't going to say nothing.
Are you hollering at me, Abner?
Yeah, come on up here a minute.
Yeah, I want to have a little talk with you, Grandpap. Sit down.
Yeah, Lum's going to use some psychology, don't
Just
you?
hush up, Abner.
What's the matter? Ain't my work been satisfaction? No.
Your work has been fine, Grandpap. You're by far the best clerk we've ever had in the store here.
Oh, goodness.
And I was just thinking, what a shame it is. Here you are, getting along in years and still working for wages.
Yeah, you don't expect me to work for nothing, did you?
No, but I mean, you're just living from day to day, you might say. You ought to have a regular income, something you could depend on in case you was laid up to where you couldn't work.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Nice something to have, all right.
You just had something you could rent to somebody. So no matter where you worked or not, you'd still have money coming in all the time.
Yeah, but I ain't got nothing nobody'd want to rent. Only thing I've got's my house, and if I rented that, I wouldn't have no place to live myself.
Well, let's see. You ought to have something over there you could rent. Let's see. What have you got somebody might have some use for? What do you think?
Don't you know, Lum, it's that player pine he's got over there.
Abner, will you please haze? Yeah, Granny, that's right. I hadn't thought about that. Glad you brung that up.
What was that, Lum?
Why, Abner here just now suggested you've got a player piney over there you might could rent.
Yeah, I've got one over there, but I don't know who in the world would want to rent it.
Well, now, there ought to be somebody around here that'd have some use for that. Let me study. I'd love to help you if I can, Grandpa.
I know somebody, Lum.
Will you stay out of this, Abner?
All right, but I could save you all that thinking if you just let me.
Wait a minute. I believe I'm getting a idea. Yeah. Granny's, Abner. We ought to have some music of some kind down at the picture show of ours.
Well, I'll be dead blame, Lum. You're the forgetfulest fella I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I'm glad I thought of that. Yeah, me and Abner might find some use for that piney down there at the show, Grandpap. We've got to have some music of some kind down there.
Yeah.
Of course, we couldn't pay much for that, but if it'd help you any out, why, we'd be glad to rent it off of you. Wouldn't we, Abner?
Yeah, reckon so. I don't know what to say now. You got me so mixed up.
Mixed up?
Why, yes. Me and you sat here and talked about the same thing not 10 minutes ago, Lum, and now you don't appear to recollect a thing about it.
How much would you, how little would you want to rent that for, Grandpa?
Oh, I don't know, Lum. I never had thought nothing about renting it. Now, think about it. You don't know what it's worth, hardly. Who was you aiming on getting to play it?
Well, I was talking some to Evelina about getting her to play it for us. Her school's about out, and if she could find something like that to do, she could stay here all summer instead of going back over to Belleville with her folks.
Well, Lum, I was figuring on getting Pearl to play it. Well, I don't believe I'd want to let it out that way unless I done the playing of it myself. See, if a body's got to play one of them player piners just so or it don't sound right. Why, I thought all you had to do was just put a roll of music on there and pump them pedals up and down. It played itself. That's just what I allowed you to say, Abner. Average fellow who don't know nothing about music would say the same thing. If you know the hours that I put in practicing on that thing. Practicing? I sure. To play a player piner? I sure. They're as hard to play right as the other kind is. Well, there's buttons around on it. You've got to know just when to press them, all that. You got to know when to play it soft and when to play it loud. Got to put feeling in the music. Yeah.
Dang, I never had thought about that.
Oh, me neither. Anybody's got to have strength to pedal clean through one of them rolls, too. Like Charity now, she always gives out. She's playing along to last, it gets so slow, the music sort of drags, sort of. She ain't got no talent for it, looks like. No.
Granny, I believe Grandpap is right about that, Abner. We want that music to sound right.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Never knowed there was so much to it.
Well, supposing we rented you and the Piney both, rented the Piney and hired you to play it. How much would you have to have for that?
Well, that's how many nights a week?
6 nights a week. Monday to Saturday.
And Sunday off. Well, that'd keep me up past my bedtime, wouldn't it? Hey, I'd be about 9:30 before you get out of there.
Yeah, but you'd get to see the show free. See, we wouldn't charge you nothing to see the picture. There's 25 cents a night you'd make right there.
Doggy, that ain't bad wages itself, you know what?
Amounts to $1.50 a week.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, man. I'll furnish the piano and do the playing for $4 a week. $4? Well, $3 then. Yeah.
Wait just a minute. Let me and Abner have a little meeting about that. Come here, Abner.
He's a little high, ain't he, Ron?
Yeah, but recollect, that's the only player pioneer in town that I know of. And that's a heap cheaper than buying one.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Well, I guess we'll take you up on it, Grandpap.
Just thinking, too, Lum. I'm going to have to bring Charity along with me overnight. Couldn't leave her there at home by herself. You mean that you want us to pass her in free, too? And that's the only way I can get out overnight.
Well, all right, we'll pass your woman in free, too.
Now then, what's worrying me is how we're going to get down there overnight. How you going to get down there? Why, just walk down there like everybody else is going to. Well, I don't know, Abner. After dark that way, me or Charity, neither one can't half see to get around. I just thinking might you get that nephew of mine to drive us over in his car. Why, yeah, sure. Why, that's just the thing to do. Just get Luke to drive you over every night.
Yeah. Well, that straightens that situation out. Well, Piney, do you's all settled in?
Yeah, of course, we couldn't expect Luke to sit out there in the car and wait for me every night till the show's over. You mean that you want to pass for Luke, too? Well, it just looks like there ain't no way out of it, Abner. Oh, me.
All right, then Luke gets in for nothing then.
Yeah, if he can do it.
If he can do it, what do you mean if he can do it?
Well, I don't know whether he's going to be able to get out of a night without bringing his family along or not. See, that woman of his won't hardly let him out of his sight.
Well, now, Grandpap, if you're hinting for a pass for Luke and his woman and all 9 of them young'uns, well, there ain't a thing a doing. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, just suit yourself about that,
Well, that's just carrying things too far.
I was just trying to help you fellas out. It don't matter none to me. I can play it over at the house.
Well, just play it over at the house, then. We ain't gonna let the whole town of Pine Ridge in free just to get you down there tonight.
Well, now, wait a minute. Excuse us a minute, Grandpap. Come here, Abner.
Yes, he's just trying to get all his relays in for nothing. That's all he's doing, Lum. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, looks like he's got us, don't
Well, sure, he knows that we want it, the old skinflint. I hate him to pieces.
Well, no, now, wait a minute. We better close the deal with him before he thinks about that second cousin of his that lives over there on Breast Creek and his family.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Well, it just looks like that we're going to have to bazaar the first 2 rows down there every night for the finer player.
Well, that's a heap cheaper than buying one.
Yeah, well, all right. Just do what you like about it. I don't care.
Yeah. Wish we could get him down a little bit, though.
Well, I know it. He just got his head set. He knows that we want it. He knows that's the only one in town. That's the way that old man deals with you.
I'll be quiet, easy listener.
I wish he'd hear me. I can't stand him at all.
Well, Grandpap, me and Abner talked it over, and we'll take it. You're hard. I still think, though, you're a little high on your prices.
I know Dad blame well he is. I don't think nothing about it.
Well, it's like you said a while ago, I never had thought about it just that way, but man get up my age, working for wages, just living from day to day, you might say. Why, he ought to have a regular income, something he can depend on in case he's laid up to where he couldn't work.
Yeah, there's that Dad blame psychology you was talking about, Lum.
If Lum makes many more deals like this, they won't have seats for the cash customers. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. If you're buying any malted milk this week, I think you owe it to yourself and your family to make a very careful selection. There are products sold on the market today as malted milk, which are extremely inferior articles. Don't be misled by outward appearance and price. The test of a good malted milk lies in its flavor and in the results that it gives. Now you can be sure of Horlicks, the original. Here's the reason. For one thing, Horlicks uses only full cream milk. That's important to remember, because many imitations use nothing but skim milk in their preparation. Again, Horlicks uses only choicest wheat and their own malt barley, prepared under the supervision of experts, instead of the inferior malt powder, cocoa, and ordinary sugar that many imitations contain. Last but not least, the ingredients in Horlicks are not just mixed up together by mechanical means only. They are specially processed to preserve the minerals and vitamins and flavor. So, be sure it's Horlicks you buy, and you'll be sure it's the best. Your druggist has it, you know, in both natural and chocolate flavors, whichever you prefer. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum and Abner have a crew of carpenters busy remodeling the old cotton warehouse, which they plan to use as their new theater. They purchased a second-hand moving picture projector from a theater over at the county seat. And Cedric Weehunt, the future operator, is being sent there to learn how to operate the machine. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Abner down at the Jot 'em Down store. Lum has just returned from getting Cedric started on his journey. Listen.
Well, come in, Lum, come in.
Yeah, I got Cedric started off all right.
You did?
Yeah, I never seen a boy so tickled in my life.
Well,
He rode into the county seat with the mail carrier, you know.
oh,
His folks were all over there to tell him goodbye. His mama stood there and waved goodbye to him first she could see him.
oh.
Big tears running down her cheeks. But he'd think he was going to war the way she carried on.
Well, Lord, me, he ain't going to be gone but a week.
Well, it ain't but 20 miles in there nohow.
No.
Guess who come in on the bus a while ago?
Who's that?
Pauline Ussery from Conway. She come in.
Well, for the land sakes,
Yeah,
I'd love to see her.
Oh, first time I saw her in a long time.
No. Well, I sure would love to see her. I want to tell the woman about it, too. She'll get it.
You're more than likely to go and visit with her.
Yeah. Well, I just hope that Cedric learns how to run that pitcher machine, Lum, if we're going to pay all his expenses while he's in there.
Oh, he'll catch on to that all right. Manager of the Lyric in there said he'd just let him stay right up there in the booth and watch that feller run that machine of there.
Yeah. Well, that's nice of him to let him how that way.
Well, I had that right in the deal, you know. When I bought that pitcher machine from him, I told him he'd have to show someone how to run it.
Yeah. Well, I still think that you're paying Cedric too much money, though, Lum.
Too much money.
Yes, sir.
Just paying him the same price we was giving him to deliver groceries here in the store.
Yeah, but now he gets to see the show free for nothing.
Well, he's got to see the show if he's going to run the film, Abner. He's got to look down there once in a while and see if he's got the picture on the screen straight.
Well, yeah, but there weren't no use in giving passes to the whole family, Lum.
Oh, well, it ain't going to hurt nothing. His folks wouldn't come out to the show if they had to pay nohow, so we ain't losing nothing.
Yeah, but you're just going to have that place over there full every night with folks that ain't paying nothing to get in. Started out and said that you weren't going to give no passes to nobody.
Well, I did say that.
Here you give Grandpap Spears and all of his relations some, and Cedric and all of his family.
Well, Grandpap is a piney player, though.
Yeah, but I was over there talking to them carpenters a while ago. They said you promised all them a pass if they'd rush that work through.
Did I tell them that?
That's what they said.
Yeah, it seemed like I did say something like that yesterday. But that'll just get it done a heap quicker, Abner.
And Mose Moose was telling me down at the barber shop that you give him one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to give him one. See, I rented them chairs from the lodge all over there, and he had charge of them. That's better than giving the whole lodge a pass. Just give one to Mose. That was sort of a bait I used on him.
Yeah, I know, but his wife and little Moses, they never had charge of him, too, did they?
Well, no, but you can't give a man a pass and expect him to leave his family at home.
Well, I don't know. Everybody I see and ask them if they're coming to our show when we get it opened up, why they say, sure, they got a pass. It looks like to me we ain't going to have room for the cash customer.
Oh, there's plenty of room over there. Now, don't you start worrying about that. We rented 200 chairs.
Yeah.
I know I ain't give out over 50 passes anyway. See, these folks that's getting in for nothing will be good advertisements for us.
Advertisement.
Yeah, we'll use them for decoys. See, folks around town here will be sitting out on our front gallery every evening and see a big crowd going by their place and on their way to the show, you know, and first thing you know, they'll get up and follow them all.
Well, more than likely they'll see so many going down there that they'll figure there won't be no sitting room for them, just not go.
Oh, well, now, they ain't all going every night, Abner. Like the one I give the mail carrier for taking Cedric into Mena. He just spends every other night out here in Pine Ridge.
Well, I'll be dead blamed. Did you give him one, too?
Yeah, but there ain't but 3 in his family. Him and his wife and 1 children. They ain't going to take up much room.
Well, I swung too, didn't I?
Well, there ain't no use to complain about it now, Abner. They've done give out. Can't go around asking them to give them back to us. What would Evelina think if I was to go over and tell her I'd have to have that pass back I give her?
Evelina?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot to tell you about that. I figured I may as well give her a pass. She'd be going to the show with me most of the time anyway, and I know I ain't going to walk up and buy no ticket for myself.
Well, it just looks like it. We may as well just put a big sign down there saying free show. Here, you want me to take up tickets, and there ain't going to be nobody to take them up from.
Well, Abner, I can't run the show if you're going to be complaining about everything I do. We've got to decide on which one of us is boss and let him run things.
decide on which one is boss.
Yeah, and I got one of us in mind that I think it makes us a good man for it, too.
Yeah, and I got a pretty good idea who it is, too.
Yeah, glad we agree on one thing, ain't we?
I never said nothing about agreeing on it. I just said I knowed who you had in mind.
Well, don't you think he'd make a good one?
No, sir, I don't. I don't think he knows a thing about running a picture show, and I ain't going to stand for it 1 minute, neither.
All right. That's the way you feel about it.
Well, that's exactly the way I feel.
I reckon we'll just have to let the other one have it then, for there ain't but two of us, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the time. Just let the other one have it then.
I just figured that you'd make a better man than I would, but if you don't want it, I will take it. Anything to be agreeable.
Huh?
You was the one I had in mind to run it, Abner, but if you've got your head set on me doing it, well, I'll just do the best I can with it.
Well, I'll be dead blamed.
But I don't want you butting in on every little thing I do now.
Won't I ever learn to keep my big mouth shut?
I reckon that'll be better anyway, though, especially if we call it Lum's Lyrics.
Call it what?
Lum's Lyrics. I studied that up last night while I was laying there in bed thinking.
Yeah, you was asleep, dreaming, if you think that's what we're going to call it.
Well, see, I picked that up on account of Lum started with a L and Lyrics started with a L, and it'll be easy for folks to recollect that way.
Well, in the first place, we wouldn't want to call it You're Nothing, and in the second place, that's the name of the picture show in at the county seat, Lyrics.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Why, folks would get mixed up. Somebody'd say, let's go to the show at the Lyric, while they might go clean into the county seat.
All right, then. What do you want to call it? I'll try my best to get along with you.
Well, I don't know. I just glad we'd call it the Pine Ridge Picture Show. Something like that.
Pine Ridge Picture Show.
Peabody and Edwards Picture Show.
They don't call them picture shows, Abner.
What do they call them?
Why, you've got to have a name that don't mean nothing. Or that is, it ain't got nothing to do with the picture show. Like Majestic and Princess, Orphan.
Orphan.
Yeah, didn't you never hear of the Orphan's Theater?
I've heard of Orphan's Home.
Well, there's theaters, too. I went to one when I was in Kansas City last week. And there's some they call Palace.
Palace?
Yeah.
Peabody's Palace. That makes
Now,
a
just
good...
stop right where you're at, Em. I know what you're going to say.
Uh-huh.
Might be best for us just not to have neither one of our names up there.
Up where?
On the big electric sign in front.
That big electric sign.
Wait a minute, here comes Dick Huddle.
Yeah, I seen him, but what about that big electric sign? Well, that's the first I'd heard of that.
Well, I just figured we ought to have one. Might now all picture shows he's got them.
Well, I don't see no use in it, Mom, spending all that money. There won't be but one show in town. Everybody know where it's at. Them that's up at that time of night will be at the show, and them that ain't will be asleep to where they couldn't see it no how.
Howdy, Dick. Come in.
Howdy. I just came by the warehouse over there. Looks like they about got that new floor finished.
Yeah, as they said, they'd have it done by night.
How you, Abner? All right, I reckon, Dick. Sit down.
Yeah. Me and Abner was just sitting here trying to decide on a name for our new show.
Oh, haven't you picked out a name for it yet?
No, we can't seem to find one that both of us agrees on.
Well, you want to get a good name for it, all right, huh?
Yeah, I thought about calling it Roxy, but somebody's beat us to that name.
Yeah, and you ought to have something different. So many of them's named Lyrics and Queen and Princess and things like that.
Of course, we want a name that's going to sound like a picture show, though.
Yeah, sure.
Well, sure, I passed a building while I was there in Kansas City. Looked a heap like a picture show building, but I never went inside. But I liked the name of that about as well as anything I saw. Had a sign out in front said the Planetarium.
Doggy, that is a good sounding name, all right.
Yeah, I thought so.
Planetarium.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to give your picture show a name like that, Lum.
Well, what's the matter with it?
Why, a planetarium is a place where they study the solar system, the stars, and the planets.
Place where they do what?
A place where folks can go in and look at the stars.
Well, Granny, that's just what we want in. That's the very name we're looking for. Yeah, they can come in our place to look at the movie stars. Granny, that's just what we'll call it, the Pine Ridge Planetarium. I'm sure proud you explained that to us. Here, Dick, here, take these. I'll give you passes for your whole family, though.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, if Lum keeps this up, the Pine Ridge Planetarium is going to do a big business with free admissions.
Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. For convalescents, the medical profession has always been a strong advocate of Horlicks malted milk. Palatable, easy to digest, nourishing, and bodybuilding, Horlicks has most of the qualities necessary in a convalescent food. To illustrate what I mean, I would like you to hear the personal experience of a good friend down in Georgia. He has given us permission to read his letter. Here's what he says, quote, I'm glad to say that Horlicks has been of great value in my wife's run-down condition. I have given it to her regularly for the past 3 months, and she has gained about 15 pounds, sleeps better, and seems to be on the road to renewed strength, unquote. If you are recovering from an illness, Horlicks malted milk may help you as well. Or if you know of any person who is convalescing, tell them about it. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum and Abner's new picture show, the Pine Ridge Planetarium, is progressing nicely. The old fellows have been busy for the past few days remodeling the old cotton warehouse, converting it into a theater. As we look in on our old friends today, we find Lum and Abner down at the Jot 'em Down store, discussing plans for the opening. Listen.
Well, if Adri's got the floor all down over there, Lum, why, you better get them chairs from a lodge hall and start setting them up in there.
Well, we can't get the chairs till after Thursday night. That's the last meeting of the lodge for the summer. See, they generally always close up during the hot weather.
Yeah. Well, I wish we could get started on that as soon as we could. We got to fasten all them chairs down to the floor, you know.
Fasten them down to the floor.
Yeah, that slanting floor we put in there, why, them chairs will slide right down to the front unless we nail them down somewhere or other.
Yeah, that's right.
Why, sure.
My granny says a heap more to this opening up a picture show than I ever allowed there was. That feller that runs the lyric in there at the county seat says a bed sheet won't do for a screen to show the picture on.
Says it won't.
No, but he knows where we can get a second-hand one awful cheap, he thinks.
Yeah, I dogged it just looks like the further we get into this thing, the more money it takes.
Well, that feller Roy Bruder's a pretty nice feller in there at the lyric, though.
Yeah, but Lord me, Lum, that $3,700 will be gone before we know it this rate.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I've studied it over, Abner, and I believe, though, we can make that $3,700 come out all right.
Well, we ought to. That's all the money we got. We got to make it come out somewhere or another. But, Lord me, Lum, if you buy that electric sign and all this other stuff that you're talking about, why, no telling where we wind up at.
Well, another thing, we've got to have some sceneries.
Some what?
Sceneries. Curtains to hang back there on the stage with all sorts of pictures painted on them. You saw them.
Well, what do we need them for?
Well, if we ever want to put on a play of any kind, we'd have to have something for the actors to stand in front of.
Yeah, well, Lord me, Lum, we ain't going to have no plays. We're going to have moving pictures.
Well, no, but someday we might have one.
Well, we don't have to have all this stuff in there right at first, Lum. Let's wait till we need it. And if we've got to have it, why, we can get it.
Well, I know we've got to have a curtain for the front, but that ain't going to cost nothing. We'll make money on that.
A curtain for the front.
Yeah, you know, it'll roll down in front of the screen before the curtain opens up. We've got to have something to cover up the back end there while we ain't showing the picture on the screen.
Well, how are we going to make any money out of it, though?
Why, aim to paint some signs on there and sell them to fellers here in town. Advertisements.
Oh.
Here, I've got it all drawn off on a piece of paper here, if I can find it. Yeah, that'll give you an idea how it's going to look.
Are you aiming on painting the signs on there yourself?
Well, I figured that'd be cheaper than hiring somebody to paint them.
Yeah.
See, here's where the sign is going to be at, in them spaces there. Of course, the whole thing will be a heap bigger than this.
Yeah. Well, what is this, Lum? I can't make no sense out of it here.
Why, this here's supposed to be the main street of Pine Ridge. See, right along there's about, that's about Dick Huddleston's store right there. And here's Moe's Moots Barber Shop right about in there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Well, who's that standing out in front there?
Where?
Right there, that fellow with his back turned towards us.
Oh, that's the barber pole. Yeah, see, I'll paint red and white stripes on the curtain there.
Oh.
That is, if Mose takes a space on it. If he don't, why, we'll change that into something outside the barber shop.
Yeah.
Then I'll just make a man out of that instead of the barber pole.
Well, that don't look like Pine Ridge to me, Lum. We ain't got no buildings that big here that I know of.
Well, I exaggerated it a little, I reckon. Sort of making Pine Ridge look like a city there. That'll make everybody proud of the hometown, you know.
What's this here?
Oh, that's Caleb Weehunt's blacksmith shop there.
Man, it sure don't look like it.
No.
That old building that Caleb's in over there is might not ready to fall down.
Yeah, but that's just the point right there, Abner. You see, Caleb will jump at a chance to get his name put on the front of a building like that. He'll be proud of himself over that when he sees it.
He's just going to paint his sign right there in that space right there. Huh?
Yeah. And if Dick Huddleston buys the advertisement, I'll paint his sign right there on his store. See, right there.
Yeah. Well, I know that is a pretty good idea, all right, Lum.
Yeah, it's something new and different.
Yeah.
I studied that up myself.
Uh-huh.
See, most of them's got a picture of a creek running down through the woods, and then they got signs around on the trees.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They've all got that. I've even saw them clean up on the mountains there. This way, we'll have the signs where they're supposed to be at.
Yeah, what building's that right there, Lum? Listen.
That?
Yeah.
Don't you know what that is?
No, I don't believe I ever seen that before.
Oh, I sure you have. That's our store.
You mean the Jot 'em Down store?
Why, of course. See, we'll have an advertisement right up there at the top.
Well, Lord me, Lum, that thing's about 6 stories high.
Yeah, I know it. That's a skyscraper. I wanted us to have the biggest store in town, of course. It ain't going to cost us nothing, nohow.
Well, yeah, but our store ain't even on that street, Lum.
I don't know, but that's the only street that shows in the picture. I had to put it over there.
Well, how's folks going to find us?
How they going to find us?
Why, yeah, if they go according to that picture that you've got drawn on there, why, they'd be looking for our store down there next to Caleb Weehunt's blacksmith shop.
Oh, well, everybody knows where we're at anyhow. See, I'll paint a sign like it was hanging on the front door there saying, move to another location, or forced to vacate, or ask Caleb Weehunt where we're at, or something like that. And then they can just go into Caleb's blacksmith shop there and ask him where we're at.
Yeah, I could do that, I reckon.
And here's Dixie Bell's place right here.
Yeah. Well,
Wait a minute, yonder comes Grandpap. Where's he been?
why, he just taking a batch of groceries over to the widow Abernathy.
Looks like he's bringing them back with him. Got something stuck under his arm there.
Yeah, more like they got the order mixed up somewhere or other. That's about what he done.
Yeah, I expect I better speak to him about that. He's making a terrible lot of mistakes here lately.
Well, the trouble is now, Lum, he don't care where he works for us anymore or not since we give him that job playing a pioneer down there at the picture show when we get it open. He don't want to work in the store no more.
Yeah, he's getting awful dependent. I believe that job's went to his head.
Oh, yeah, he's always bragging about it.
Wait a minute, I'll speak to him about it.
Yeah.
Grandpap, come back here a minute. I want to talk to you.
Yeah, what's the matter? Did you take the wrong groceries over there?
Why, no, I just come by the post office on my way back. This is some new rolls of music I ordered for my player pioneer.
Well, I'm proud to hear that.
Yeah, I'm glad you done that, Grandpap. I'm feared they'd have got tired of hearing Casey Jones and Steamboat Bill over and over again.
Why, sure.
Well, I wanted to show 'em that I knowed how to play more than just 2 tunes, too. Did you say you want to talk to me, Lum?
Well, just let it go, Grandpap. I can see you some other time. Let's see what pieces you got there.
Yeah, I wish you had the pioneer over here. I'd love to hear him right now, Grandpa.
Yeah, well, you fellas come over to the house tonight, and I'll play 'em for you. These are some brand spanking new ones right here. I bound you they'll make 'em sit up and take notice.
Well, I wish you'd ordered some old tunes, Grandpa. That's what I like, the old ones.
Well, I do too, Abner. I love the old tunes myself, but they never had no old ones in the catalog that me and Charity picked these out of.
They never.
Granny, this sounds like a good one. Garden Alley.
Yeah.
What's this one? It's a long way to Tipperary.
Oh, yeah, that's awful pretty. It's a long ways to Tipperary. It's a long ways to
Yeah, I
go.
believe I've heard that. I'm forever blowing bubbles.
Huh?
That's another one here.
Oh.
Can-do stand.
Yeah, Charity says she's heard that and says it's awful pretty, Lum.
Well, I still like them old pieces a heap better, though. Like, she's more to be pitied than censored. And a picture that's turned towards the wall.
Yeah.
There's a mother's heart that's broken. There's a name that's seldom spoken. There's a picture that is turned against the wall. That's my favorite right there. It'll make me cry every time I sing it. You know, it's about a girl that left home, and then when she come back, why, folks wouldn't let her in the house, and it was snowing and all that.
I know how it goes.
Poor little thing. Poor little thing.
Here's one that sounds good. My little Margie and Jada.
Yeah, that must be right new ones. I don't recollect ever hearing neither one of them.
Well, Grandpap, I'm glad you got these. We're going to have everything right up to the minute. I can see that right now.
It's just about everything going along.
Well, yeah, as far as I know. I think we've thought of everything. As far as I'm concerned now, I'm ready to open up any time now, quick as we get the machine.
Yeah.
Well, what about the pictures, Lum? Have you got them all bought? The pictures? Yeah, the film. You mean, Granny, I forgot about that.
I know that's right. We got to have some pictures to show along.
Why, sure.
Did you get any with that picture machine that you bought?
Wait a minute here. It's a good thing you thought of that, Grandpap. Reckon where a feller buys them things at?
Yeah, I don't know, but we ought to have a good one to open up with.
Yeah, we ought to have a big picture of some kind. Let me see.
Whereabouts do you buy them things at, anyhow? I say, where do you get them pictures from?
I don't know. From the feller that makes them, I reckon.
Yeah. And that fella in at the county seat, he ought to have some Lum in that he's already used for the lyric, you know.
Yeah, I reckon he's got all them that he's ever used in there. But we want to get some new ones or nothing. There's a big picture I've heard of a while back, if I can think of it.
Yeah, that's what we ought to have, special for the grand opening, ought to have a good one.
Yeah, wait a minute. Wait, I've got it right on the end of my tongue, if I can get...
Huh?
Yeah, I know now. Why, sure, the birth of a nation. Aye, Granny, that's the picture we want. Now, if I can just find out where to get that at.
Well, there's no question about it. The Pine Ridge Planetarium is going to be an up-to-date picture show. Everybody, here we are all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. Listen to this, all you youngsters. Did you know that you can get a handy-sized flask of Horlicks malted milk tablets for only 10 cents? The very same delicious tablets that lots of racing motorists and aviators use to keep themselves on the go. Well, it's a fact. That's all that a pocket flask of these grand chocolate-flavored tablets cost. If you've never had any before, tell your mother that, and I'm sure she'll get you some. You'll certainly go for those tablets, too. They're swell. Ask your mother to get you a flask, and don't forget to tell her that Horlicks tablets won't spoil your appetite. Tell her how wholesome they are, too. She can get them from the druggist in both natural and chocolate flavors. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, it looks like Lum and Abner have finally hit upon a good idea for a new business venture. The Pine Ridge Planetarium, their new picture show, is progressing nicely and should soon be open to the public. As we look in on the old fellows today, we find them down at the Jot 'em Down store discussing final arrangements for their formal opening. Listen.
Well, we better be getting some ordered from someplace. First thing you know, we'll have the picture show all ready to open up, moving pictures.
Well, Abner, I told you I don't know where to order them from. I've looked through all the mail order catalogs over there at the house, and none of them ain't got them for sale. Or I can't find none.
Well, it'd be a shame now if the building's about finished if we couldn't find out where they sell them.
You know, I believe the best thing for us to do, Abner, is to call up that feller in there at the county seat and ask him where he buys his gnats.
Yeah, I could do that, I reckon. I hadn't thought about that.
Here, let me step to the phone here. I'll just call him up right now.
Yeah, I asked him how Cedric's getting along too long.
Huh?
I say, ask him how Cedric's getting along, too.
Oh, yeah, he ought to have learned all about running them machines by now.
And I don't know. Cedric's pretty slow about picking stuff up, or he might not have no talents for the picture show business.
Hello? Central? Will you ring the Lyric Theaters, please, Mom? All right.
Tell him what we named their show, too, while you're at it, Tom.
Yeah, I believe we've got them skinned on the name.
Oh, yeah.
Hello? It is. Well, good. Just who I was calling. Let me speak to the manager, please, Mom. Mom? Oh, this is Lum Edwards, manager of the Pine Ridge Planetarium. Planetarium? Why, it's a picture show. Yes, Mom. All right. One, she's got to know everything. Acts like she's scared to death something's going to happen that she ain't in on. Curiosity, I reckon. Every time I call up, she wants to know who I am and all about me.
Yeah, well, women is awful curious critters. They're best the same way.
Hello? Why, tolerably well. How's yourself? Uh-huh. How's Cedric getting along in there? He is? Well, that's fine. I'm proud to hear it. Says Cedric's catching right on to running that machine there.
Well,
Why, what I called you up about, where do you buy your moving picture shows at? Well, I mean the film. The pictures.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You're looking for him in there today, huh? Well, I wish you'd send him on out here. Tell him we've got to buy some moving pictures from somebody. Yeah. All right. Much obliged to you. All right. Goodbye. He said there's a regular drummer that sells them things.
Yeah.
Says he's supposed to be in there today, and if he shows up, he's going to send him on out here to see us.
Well, fine. Regular drummer sells them, huh?
That's what he says. I figured there must be some way to get them without writing to the actors firm.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a nuisance.
Well, let's see. We better be deciding what pictures we want before that fella gets here, then.
Well, maybe we better wait and see what he's got first, huh?
Well, he'll have all kinds of them, more than likely. We just have to tell him what we want and let him get them first. See, different actors is in different pictures.
Yeah, well, let's be sure and get one with Charlie Chaplin's in it, Lum. He's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a case, that fella. He's always struck me funny for some reason. Gets himself in the worst mix-ups, looks like. He don't use no judgment or trouble with him.
No.
I hate to laugh at a fella's troubles that way, but I'll swan he'll do some things that looks like anybody with just half sense would know better.
Yeah, I wanted to laugh, too. Special that Walker here.
Yeah.
But I reckon a body oughtn't to make fun of how anybody looks, so.
No fella can't help how he looks.
No.
Well, sir, I seen out doing this thing in Kansas City while I was in there. I ever seen in my life. They had a picture show in there with a mouse acting in it.
A mouse?
Yes, sir. Mickey Mouse, they call it. And it's downright astonishing what they've learned that little rascal to do. Just acts might not like a human.
Well, I do know.
Talks and everything else.
Talk? A mouse?
Yes, sir. They've learned him to talk just as good as me or you either one.
Well, I'd love to see him.
Oh, it's the beatin'est thing you ever seen. Walks around on his hind legs all the time. Wears clothes and everything. Got a little suit for him.
Well,
Shoes.
I know that'd be funny having a mouse running around the house that could talk, wouldn't it?
Well, tell you the truth, Abner, I don't much think it's a sure enough mouse. They claim it is, but I think I catched on to it.
Yeah.
I believe it's a man dressed up like one.
A man dressed up like a mouse, huh?
Yeah, it stands to reason they couldn't learn no mouse to do the things he done. But I wish you could have shown him.
Well, why don't we get a picture with him in it, then?
Well, if this fella that's coming out here's got one, we will. I think we better get it for a little later on, though. I don't think it'd be best to have it right at first.
Well, why not? I'm anxious to see it now.
Well, it just wouldn't look right to have our grand opening and use a picture with a mouse doing the acting. That wouldn't look right.
No.
We want to get just as big a picture as we can for that first night.
I thought they was all about the same size, them pictures.
Well, they're all the same size, but some of them's what they call big pictures. Extras.
Well, now, we don't want to get one too big for that screen that we got down there now.
Well, that won't make no difference, Abner. They'll all fit that screen. When I say big, that ain't got nothing to do with the size of it.
You mean when you call something big, that ain't got nothing to do with the size of it?
Not in the moving picture business, it ain't. When you say it's a big picture, you mean it's an extra good one.
And they've got more crazy names for things here lately. Looks like I'm just going to have to learn to talk all over again.
Oh, well, you get used to them expressions. You just listen to me close, and you catch on to it all right. I see right now, I must have been just natural cut out for the show business myself.
Yes, sir. I believe this is one thing that we're going to make a success out of, Lum.
Oh, yeah. Things have sure been running smooth.
Yes, they sure have. Awful smooth.
It ain't been over a week hardly since we first decided to go into it. Here we might not be ready to open up already.
Well, for the land's sakes, look who's coming in out there.
Oh, well, for goodness sake. First time I saw him since I got back from Kansas City.
No, he ain't been coming around much here late, thank goodness.
You get up and wait on him, Abner. Him and me can get along with him. No.
Well, howdy, Squire.
Yeah, come in, Squire, come in.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
And what can we do for you, Squire?
Why, not a thing, Abner, not a thing. Keep your seat. Just thought I'd drop over and loaf with you men for a while.
Well, sit down, Squire, sit down. You can drag up that box.
Yes, thank you, Lum. They tell me that you fellers are going to open up a picture show here in Pine Ridge.
Yeah, we'll have her going in a few days now, I hope.
Yes, well, I was just over there where they're remodeling the building for you. It's going to look all right, too, yes.
You think it's all right?
Oh, yes, I believe it is, Lum.
Well, thank you, Squire. I think it's going to look right nice myself.
Well, sir, you know, you men just beat me out of an idea there.
Beat you out of an idea.
Yes, I had the same thing in mind myself. You know, that's my old business, theater. I was in the show business long before I came to this part of the country. I opened up the first picture show in Centralia, Missouri, years ago. Put it in the old opera house there.
Well, I do know. Well, that's one business I never knowed you'd been in, Squire.
Oh, yes, I know the picture show business from A to Z.
You know it where, Squire?
Why, what was it, Abner?
Nothing, Squire. Go ahead. What was it you started to say?
Well, I was just wondering, how would you men like to have a third partner in this picture show that you're putting in? You ought to have somebody in the business and know something about it.
Well, I don't much think we'd want to take in no third partners.
No, I know that blame well we would, and I don't think nothing about it.
You see, Squire, we get to dividing them profits 3 ways, and they wouldn't be nigh as much for none of us. Yeah.
Well, but now, along with my knowledge of the show business, I can make more than enough extra profits to pay my share.
How do you figure that, Squire? Ain't much a fella can do, so I'd just take up the tickets and run the film.
Yes, well, you learn that there's a lot more to it than that, Lum. It takes showmanship. You've got to figure out different ways to get people to come out. Like on this opening night you're going to have. That ought to be one of the biggest events in the history of Pine Ridge. The opening of our first picture show.
Oh, yeah.
Why, you ought to have this whole countryside plastered with advertisements. If I had charge of that thing, I'd have the SRO sign out every night of the week.
Well, that ain't the name of it, though. It's the Pine Ridge Planetarium.
Well, what I mean by the SRO sign, Lum, is standing room only. I'd have every seat in that place sold every night.
Standing room only. Yeah, we ought to have one of them signs. That's one thing I overlooked. I don't know, Granny Squire, but what you would make us a good third partner. You brung up some points there that shows you know what you're talking about. All
well, now, just a minute there, Lum, before you go any farther. I've got something to say about that. I'm a partner in this thing myself.
Oh, yeah, of course it'll have to be satisfaction with Abner.
Well, it ain't satisfaction with me, I'll tell you that right now. In the first place, I don't want no third partner. And if I did, I wouldn't want Squire.
Why, Abner, you'll hurt Squire's feelings.
I don't see any reason why you should feel that way, Abner.
Well, maybe you can't, but I can. I've had all the dealings with you that I want to have, and I don't want to have a thing to do with anything that you're mixed up in.
Abner.
Well, now, I'm just trying to do you men a favor, Abner.
Well, you ain't going to get no third interest in our picture show, so you may as well just get that idea out of your head right now.
Well, all right, if that's the way you feel about it. But I gave you a chance. I'll tell you right now, if you men don't let me in with you, I'm going to open up a picture show right here in Pine Ridge and run competition to you. I'll run you out of business. I'll close that show of yours up for no the reason why.
And just as things were running so smoothly, Squire Skimp had to put in an appearance. take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. I wonder how many of the women who listen to Lum and Abner have to watch their weight, and how many of the men, too. Now, I suggest that you particular folks listen to this mighty carefully. In a recent weight-reducing test in Chicago, women actually lost an average of 3 pounds, 4 ounces in less than 10 days. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? Well, here's how they did it. They used the Horlick Weight Control Plan, which consists simply of drinking a glass full of Horlick's malted milk in place of a heavy, hard-to-digest lunch. Simple enough, but how safe and effective this plan is. Safe because Horlicks is an exceptionally well-balanced food, a good source of the minerals and vitamins essential for providing correct nourishment. And effective because it cuts down on a common cause of excess weight, too many calories. So there you are, all you overweight folks. There's the answer to your problem, the Horlick Weight Control Plan. You can get the necessary Horlick's malted milk from your druggist in either natural or chocolate flavor. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. All the arrangements for Lum and Abner's new picture show, the Pine Ridge Planetarium, have been running very smoothly until yesterday, when Squire Skimp propositioned the old fellows to take him in as a third partner. And when they refused, stated that he was going to open a picture show of his own, run them out of business. As we look in on our old friends today, we find them down at the Jot 'em Down store, very much worried over Squire's threats. Listen.
Well, Abner, it's either let him in with us or he's going to open up a show of his own, and you know that won't do.
Well, let him open one up. It'll be just as bad for him as it will for us.
Yeah, but there ain't enough business here in Pine Ridge for 2 picture shows. He never would have thought about putting one in if it hadn't been for you flying off in the handle and getting him mad.
I never flew off the handle. I just said that we didn't want no third partner in the business, and I don't.
Yeah, but you could have said it in a heap nicer way than you did. Telling him that if you're gonna have another partner, you wouldn't have him.
Well, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, but you can't come right out and say things like that to folks. You got to handle a feller like Squire Skimp with the gloves on.
You mean if I'd have had on a pair of gloves, why, it wouldn't have made him mad?
No, that's just the expression. It means you've got to handle him easy. Handle him with gloves on.
Yeah, I'd love to handle him with a pair of boxing gloves on. I ain't got no use for him at all, Every time we've ever had any dealings with him, we took a skinning.
Well, it ain't that I want to take him in as a partner. I ain't got no love for him myself,
I hate him to pieces.
We'd make a heap more money with him as a partner than we would if putting him putting in a show again us.
And I don't know where we would or not.
Well, there's just so much business here, and if he puts in a show too, why, he's going to get half of it, and me and you'll get the other half. Me and you'll just get one half between us, a fourth apiece. But if we take him in as a partner, why, we split it 3 ways. We'll get a third apiece.
Well, I don't know nothing about that, Lum, but I do know that I ain't going to stand for him being no partner with me and nothing.
Well, you're just getting stubborn, Abner.
No, now, there ain't no use to argue with me now, Lum. I've got my head set.
I'm not arguing with you, Abner. I'm just trying to reason with you. Here's a fella that's had a lot of experience running picture shows and knows all about them. And we've got a chance to take him in as a partner, and if we don't, he's going to open up competition against us. Looks like he's got us right where he wants us.
Well, I don't care.
I say, I'm afraid Squire's got us right where he wants us.
Where?
Where what? What are you talking about?
Where does he want us?
I don't know. Right where we're at, I reckon.
You mean he wants us here in the store?
Oh, of course not. The store ain't got nothing to do with it.
Well, that's where we're at.
I know where we're at.
Well, if he's got us where he wants us, well, it must be here in the store then.
You don't know what I'm talking about, Abner.
Oh, yeah. He thinks we're over at the picture show, huh?
No, I said he's got us where he wants us. I mean, he's got us to where we don't know which way to jump.
Jump?
Yeah, don't know which way to turn.
Well, now, which do you mean, turn or jump?
Either one, Abner. It's all the same.
You mean turning and jumping is all the same thing?
Well, no, not ordinary, but in this case it is. He's got us to where we don't know what to do.
Well, I ain't going to do nothing. I don't see how us jumping or turning, either one, is going to keep him from putting in a picture show if he's a mind to do it.
Well, no, of course not.
Well, what do you want to do it for, then? You can't scare me into jumping.
Abner, you still don't know what I mean. I mean Squire's got our hands tied to where we can't do nothing else.
Huh?
Ain't no use looking at your hands. I don't mean that they're sure enough tight. Can't you understand nothing?
Well, I thought you said that he had our hands tied.
I did.
Well, mine ain't. I know that. Yours ain't neither. Look at there.
Oh, for goodness sake, Abner. You take everything I say literary. What I mean, Squire's got us where he wants her. He's got us to where we don't know which way to... Our hands are... He's holding an axe over our head.
Oh, my goodness, my goodness.
What's the matter with... Sit down there. Sit down, for goodness
What did you say about an axe?
I said he was holding an axe. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Well, if he's holding any axe over my head, I want to know about it.
He ain't holding nothing over your head, so sit down.
Well, what do you want to be starting such stories as that then for? Say one thing 1 minute and turn right around and say that you didn't mean it.
Well, you get a body so mixed up, you don't know what he's saying half the time.
Well, who wouldn't get mixed up with such talk as that? Saying my hands are tied. Like I wouldn't know it if it was. Anybody can tell when their hands is tied.
When I say tied, Abner, I don't mean they're tied with a rope.
Well, what I'm telling you, though, they ain't tied with nothing. I can see.
Oh, my goodness. I started out a while ago to explain to you that Squire's got us right where... Squire is... Oh, I'll swan, Abner, if you don't try about his patience. I forgot now what it was I was trying to explain to you.
Well, it just looks to me like, Lum, as Squire's got things worked around to where he'll get the best of us either way we decide.
Well, I'll be dad blamed.
Huh?
That's just what I've been trying to say for the last 10 minutes.
Was that what you were trying to tell me?
Why, of course it was.
I just wish you could have heard what all you were saying. Are you feeling all right, Lum?
Of course I'm feeling all right. Where'd you get an idea like that?
Oh, nothing. But now, Lum, if I was you now, I wouldn't worry too much about this picture show and Squire Skim. Everything's going to work out all right now. Just don't worry about it.
I ain't worrying about
there
it.
There comes Dick Hudson out front there. You want me to tell him that you'd rather he wouldn't bother you now?
Well, he's not going to bother me. Why would Dick bother me?
Oh, nothing, but I want to see him about something private first.
Well, all right. I'll step out of the store if you want to see him.
No, that's all right. I'll just meet him up here at the front door. I just want to tell him something. Now, wait a minute, Dick. I want to talk to you.
Yeah, sure. What's the matter, Abner?
I just want to see you before you got back there with Lum. Dick, I'm just afraid that Lum's been worrying too much about this picture show. He's having spells.
Having spells?
Yeah, I believe his mind is a-wandering. He's sort of addled. You see, Squire Skimp come over here yesterday and tried to get us to take him in as a third partner in our picture show. And when we wouldn't do it, I just balked, just flatly refused to do it. And then he come out and made him mad. He says now that he's going to open up a picture show here in a competition against us. And I think Lum's just worried about it so much that it's just affected his reasoning.
Well, I'll declare.
He was sitting back there a while ago. Appeared to be all right. Then all at once, why, he got it in his head that Squire had our hands tied together and was trying to kill us with an axe.
Well, for goodness sakes, Abner.
And now he appears to be back in his right mind again. It just sort of comes and goes, looks like. But I thought I better tell you so that you could sort of quiet him down if he gets started on it again.
Yeah, sure. Well, let's go on back there. Well, howdy, Lum.
Well, hello, Dick. Come on back. I want to talk to you.
Yeah, Dick's your friend, Lum. You know him, don't you, Dick Hudson?
Why, of course I know him. What's eating on you anyway, Abner? Sit down, Dick.
Yeah, thanks. How you feeling, Lum?
Why, just only tolerably, Dick. Been worrying myself half crazy. That's what I want to talk to you about.
Oh, now, Lum, now, you're all right. Now, you just been worrying too much, you know.
Squire Skimp's been trying to buy a third interest in our picture show and says if we don't sell it to him, he's going to open up another in here in Pine Ridge in competition to us.
Oh, well, I wouldn't let that worry me, Lum. He's just bluffing. Just trying to force you to sell.
Well, that's just the trouble about it. Can't tell where he's bluffing or not. He's got me to where I don't know which way to jump. Got our hands tied, looks like.
There you go, Dick. Change the subject. Get him to talk about something else quick.
Sort of holding an axe over her head.
Oh, my goodness, my goodness.
Abner, what are you whispering about? What's the matter with you?
Nothing, not a thing now. Don't get excited now. Just sit down.
I can't talk to Dick, and you over there whispering in his ear all the time. What would you do, Dick, if you was us?
Why, he won't go through with it, Lum. Just let him pop his whip. In the first place, where would he put it? There's not another vacant building in town that he could rent.
No, that's right. I don't believe there are.
Not a thing. And if he puts up a new one, why, it'd be a couple of months anyway before he could get it ready. That's a big job putting up a theater building.
Grannies, I hadn't thought about that.
Why, sure. You fellas just sit tight now and let him do the worrying.
Well, sir, I believe you're just right about it, Dick. I hadn't thought about that, having to put in a new building and all.
Why, sure he'll have to.
He couldn't put in one if he wanted to, could he?
Well, no, I don't believe he's got the money left.
I don't believe there's a thing in the world to it.
Well, in the first place, as long there wouldn't be any point neither in taking him in as a partner.
Just a minute, Dick. I believe that was our ring, man.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hello? This is him talking.
You don't know what he's doing right now.
Who? Oh, howdy, Mose. Mose.
Well,
How's that, Mose?
I'm just a...
What was it? Well, what's the reason you came?
Oh, it's good to have plenty of sense.
Well, here now. I done made a deal with you, firm.
That is up till today.
Why, you said the lodge would be closed all summer and they wouldn't have no use for them chairs.
I bet he don't know what he's saying right now.
Squire Skimp. Well, what's he renting the whole lodge hall for? Huh? Oh, my goodness. Granny's Mose says they've rented them chairs and the lodge hall and all. The Squire Skimp says he's going to put in a moving picture show in over there.
Well, it looks like that axe that was hanging over Lum and Abner's head is about to drop. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. Well, folks, here we are at the end of the week again. Are you planning a motoring trip, by the way? Certainly a lot of you must be. This is a great time of year for hitting the trails, wherever you live. The reason I mention this is because I have a suggestion here that may prove just the thing you've been looking for. A light, easy-to-digest supper that you can prepare in a minute when you get back from your trip. Horlicks malted milk. Just the sort of cool, refreshing drink that your family and your friends will appreciate after driving in the country. If you've never thought of this, try it out this weekend. Make up a pitcherful and keep it in the refrigerator, ready to serve your family or guests. Once you've bought a package of Horlicks malted milk, you'll never be without it again. Horlicks has so many other uses in the home. Your druggist keeps it in both natural and chocolate flavors, whichever you prefer. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, yesterday, Lum and Abner learned definitely that Squire Skimp's threat to open up a competitive picture show was not idle talk, as he has rented the lodge hall in Pine Ridge and also the chairs they had planned to use. Well, this leaves the old fellows with the problem of finding seating accommodations for the audience they expect to have. And as we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find Lum and Abner down at the Jot 'em Down store discussing this new complication. Listen.
Yeah, we've got to have seats of some kind, Abner. We can't expect folks to just stand up and watch the show.
Well, we can't afford to buy new ones, neither. Them things runs into money.
I don't know what to do. I never slept a wink all last night worrying about it.
Of course, we might could get them seats over at the schoolhouse for the summer. School ain't out now till fall.
No, them seats wouldn't do that. They're too little, most of them.
Well, we could just let the children sit in them little ones.
Well, you couldn't get children to come out to the show if they had to sit down at a school desk. Especially this time of the year, they want to get as far away from one of them things as they can.
Yeah, I reckon so. But road folks could sit in them, if they could get in.
No, them seats wouldn't do. It wouldn't look right anyway, having folks sitting around at them desks looking at the show.
Well, I thought you'd already made arrangements with Mose Moose to rent them chairs from a lodge hall.
I did. And I jumped Mose about it this morning, but he says Squire called a meeting of the trustees of the lodge yesterday and Made him a proposition to rent the chairs, lodge hall, and all.
Yeah.
See, Squire's one of the high officers in the lodge, and he'll do my anything he says.
You ought to got Mose to put that in writing when you made the deal with him.
Well, I never thought about Squire or anybody else opening up a show again.
I wish we'd have thought about renting that lodge hall. That's just going to make a dandy place for a picture show.
Well, I never had no ideas they'd rent it. They never have let it out before for nothing.
Well, I'm just afraid we're going to have trouble, ever finding any seats around here.
Yeah, we'll find some now. If Squire Skim thinks he's going to keep us from opening up our picture show just by renting them chairs, he's just got another thinker coming. I'm more determined than ever to make a success of it now.
Well, I'm just glad we got started when we did. We'll be opened up and doing a big business before he gets that place of his over there ready.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got the music all arranged for her and the moving picture machine bought. Old Cedric's already learned how to run it. We've got to jump on him all right.
Yeah, you'll find out he's bucking up again the wrong fellas this time.
Oh, yeah. He'll be bankrupted in 2 weeks' time. Wait till he starts trying to order some moving pictures. I've got all the pictures that drummer had to sell that was any town already bought for us.
Yeah, that's right. Just can't wait to see them things. Wish we could open up tomorrow.
Well, I was talking to Ezra this morning. He says carpenters ought to be through over there by the middle of next week.
Yeah, I wish they'd hurry.
Well, he's got Forrest Lewis. He's a pretty good hand with the carpenter, hammer and saw, you know.
Yeah. Well, I just hate for Squire to get opened up first. That's what I'd say.
Well, I've got every carpenter in town working on it over there. Then it's right smart of work to change a cotton warehouse to theater that way.
Oh, yeah.
And to put that ceiling in it and make the floor slanting that way and change up the front some. A lot to do.
I believe that was our ring one.
Oh, yeah, might have been. I wasn't paying no attention.
Well, I wasn't either, but I think it was.
Hello. This is the Jot 'em Down store. Lum Edwards, manager of the Pine Ridge Planetarium, doing the talking.
You always get that in.
Mom? Oh, yeah. Well, we ain't got nobody here right now, Sister Simpson, to do the delivering. Well, I guess I could, but why don't you call Dick Huddleston's store? He keeps good stuff down there.
Oh,
Well, me and Abner's awful busy here right now. Well, yeah, sure, we appreciate your business, but we can't just draft everything to bring you over a can of baking powder. I say, hello? Hello? Yeah, she must have hung up. Reckon what she got her back up about. She wouldn't care whether we got any seats for a picture show or not.
Well, yonder comes Grandpap now, Lum. He could have delivered them.
Yeah, well, let her go. She wants to act that way about it. We can't be running around here selling a dime's worth of this and a dime's worth of that. Our time's getting valuable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a good thing you never got here no sooner, Grandpap. You'd have had to make a deliver.
Well, I reckon I won't be delivering no more groceries for you fellas, though.
Huh?
Won't be delivering no more.
No, I just come over to tell you fellas I'm quitting.
Well, I'll be dead black.
Huh?
I knowed it. I knowed the minute that we give you that job of playing that player piano of yours over there for us at the picture show, why, you'd start getting dependent.
Yeah, we're going to need you here in the store more than ever now, Grandpap, since we've got the picture show business to look after, too.
Why, sure.
Well, I wouldn't have time to work down here now, nohow.
Oh, well, now, you just have to furnish music over there of a night. That ain't going to affect your work over there in the store during the day.
No, you start quitting the store here, Grandpap, and we might just not let you furnish the music for us. Get somebody else to do it.
Well, I guess that's just what you'll have to do anyway, man.
Well, now, wait a minute, Grandpap. Don't pay no attention to Abner. We ain't fired you yet.
No, not yet.
Well, you ain't going to get a chance to fire me, Abner Peabody, for I ain't going to work down there. I've got a job paying me better money.
Doing what?
Playing the piano, same as I was going to do for you fellas. I'm starting to work for Squire Skimp tomorrow.
Why, Skim?
Yeah, he's putting in a picture show over there in the lodge hall.
Well, we knowed about that.
Yeah.
I hate to quit you fellas, especially before I even get started, but I've got to look out for myself, get the best I can for my talents.
Talent. Playing a player piano.
Well, I don't blame you for that, Grandpap, but how much is Squire giving you?
$6 a week, just twice what you fellas offered me.
Well, I'll spawn to goodness.
Did he know that you was aiming on furnishing the music for us?
Yeah, he said that was the reason he's paying me such wages as that.
Well, that sounds just like him, yeah.
Supposing we raise them wages a little, Grandpap, give you a little more than he did.
Yeah.
Well, it's 200 now, Lum. I signed an agreement. Contract to furnish the music at that price for 3 months.
Well, I'll son do it. He'd do anything. God, is him making a man like you sign agreement. If I'd have had any sense, you'd have did the same thing with us.
Well, I expect I better be going, fellas. I hope you boys don't feel hard at me over it.
Well, we couldn't hardly blame you for getting all you can, Grandpa.
No, we ain't blaming you, Grandpa.
No.
Well, I want to run over and tell Charity the good news. I'll see you fellas later.
All right, Grandpa.
So long. Well, it looks like we ain't going to have no place for 'em to sit down to listen to the music. No music for 'em to listen to if they was sitting down.
And that's the only player piano in town, too.
So Squire thinks he's going to keep us from going into the picture show business just by hiring our piano player. Oh, swan to goodness. I grannies, we'll show him a thing or two. I wish Cedric could play the piano or something.
Well, Lum, he's going to be running the picture machine. He can't be up there in that booth and down there in front playing the piano at the same time.
Oh, that's right.
No.
Dad blame that Squire. Everything was running so smooth, so he had to butt in.
I hate him to pieces. I just can't stand it.
Yeah, wait a minute. If that's somebody else wanting groceries, I'm going to slap the receiver right smack up in her ear.
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, this is him. Oh, well, howdy, Ezra. How you getting along over there? Huh? You're doing what? What's the matter? Well, now, Ezra, you can't do that. Well, what's Squire paying you? Well, we'll just double that. Pay you twice as much.
Oh, my.
Oh, you have? Well, you oughtn't to sign it. You're just knocking yourself out of twice what he's a-paying you. Yeah, it's too late now, I reckon. Did they all sign the contract? Uh-huh. Yeah. All right, Adrian. Goodbye.
What's the matter, Lum?
Let me sit down.
What's wrong with Ezra?
Why, him and all the rest of our partners over there has quit and went to work for Squire.
Well, I'll be dead blamed.
It just looks like there ain't no one thing that feller won't do. He's a snake in the weeds if ever I seen one.
Well, that just about winds us up there, Lum. We had every partner in town working for us.
Well, that ain't going to stop us, I'll tell you that. Granny, we're going to open up that picture show if we have to finish it ourselves.
Well, for the land's sakes, look coming in yonder, Lum.
Well, I do know. Cedric.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get him to help.
Why, sure.
3 of us can finish it up.
Yeah.
Well, good for Cedric. I know that was a good idea, sending him in to learn how to manipulate that picture machine.
Yeah. Well, I never even knowed he's back from the county seat yet.
Well, I forgot he was due back today. Well, Cedric, howdy.
Come in here, Cedric. How'd you get along in there?
Oh, all right, I reckon. How are you, Mr. Lum?
Well, just fine, Cedric. Sit down and tell us all about it.
Yeah.
Well, I got to be going in just a minute, though. I just come over to give you that $15 back that you gave me for expenses while I was in there at the county seat to learn how to run that moving picture machine.
Well, you don't have to pay that back, Cedric. We give you that.
Why, no, Cedric. You keep that money.
Well, I'd rather give it back, though. I wouldn't feel like letting you all pay my expenses in there, especially when I'm going to work for Mr. Squire, running that moving picture machine for him.
Oh.
Looks like it might have been best to have taken Squire Skimp in as a partner after all. This is Carlton Brickert speaking for Lum and Abner and Horlick, who now bid you all good night and good health.